I, um, I can remember very vividly the day that Dr. King was assassinated. I was 1968. I was a freshman, second semester freshman at Bishop College in Dallas, Texas. It was traumatic for most of us and most students there. A lot of the students that I was friends with and had the opportunity to go to college with was from Birmingham and Mobile. Some was from Atlanta. And so it was a very disturbing day for most of us. While Dr. King is best known for his I Have a Dream speech, his legacy includes much more than the I Have a Dream speech. As I look back over my life and as coming up as a youngster in Mansfield, Louisiana, having seen him on television, because that's most of our introduction to him, and mostly on news documentaries, on the evening news. My grandfather watched a lot of news, and that's mostly how I was introduced to Dr. King in an indirect way. I was all of my life, I was impressed with his idea of self-love, trying to perpetuate that within the community, particularly within the African American community, a sense of self-love, a sense of self-determination. His commitment to social injustice, economic injustice, and of course on education and critical thinking. And I was impressed most with that because I like scholarships. I like scholarship, and I'm always a connoisseur of education. And I think that's one of the powerful movements in his life is that he believed in education. There are a couple of quotes I remember. One, he said that all men are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality. All of us have a sense of, there are a lot of things that we agree on. We have a lot of things that we are alike in. And of course, in his book, Drum Major Instinct, he wrote this. He said, if any of you are around when I meet my day, and this is on his own legacy. I don't want a long funeral. Some of you have already heard this. If you get somebody to deliver the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. And then he talked about the idea that if you say anything about me, you say that I tried to help somebody, I tried to love somebody, and I want you to say that I tried to be right on issues. I want you to be able to say that I tried to feed the hungry. I want you to be able to say that in that day I tried to clothe those who was naked. I want you to say on that day that I tried in my life to visit those who were in prison. I want you to say that I tried to love and serve humanity. And that was just one of the quotes out of the book, Drum Major Instinct. And I think for me to continue the legacy, for me to remember the legacy and to continue the legacy, particularly with our children, is my area of being interested in education, and particularly at a very young age. I think if I'm impressed with anything, and if I want to do anything in his honor, it would be for me to sponsor, be a part of a program that help educate children from all cultures, all races, but particularly African American boys who sometimes drops through a hole. And of course, single parents, since there's so many single parents, I think that one of my things is to encourage kids to try to further their education, get some kind of skill, become a productive citizen. And I think that was Dr. King's legacy. Of course, you know, when you are in a fight for equity, there's always a lot of controversy, always a lot of struggle, always a lot of things to insult your integrity as a person. And of course, I realized that he was not a perfect man, but what he offered for just the masses, for America as a whole, I thought he was one of the consciences of our country during that period. One other thing he said, unlike unchecked cancer, Hate erodes the personality and eats away at his vital unity. Hate destroys a man's sense of values, his objectivity. It causes him to describe the beautiful as ugly and the ugly as beautiful, and to confuse truth with false and false with truth. These are the kinds of things that impress me as I read some of the books that Dr. King had written, because he felt like that whatever he was going to accomplish, it was certainly going to be nonviolent. That he felt that love was the epitome of getting things done. To the point that he said, I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And I have been impressed by these quotes and others, and of course, his willingness to sacrifice his life and his children, his family, even until the last day of his life. So for me, my continuing Dr. King's legacy would be to make sure that I can encourage young people, that I can be a mentor or an encourager to young people to further themselves, and not look so much at even the content of their color, but try to develop their character and develop it by educating themselves, being involved in the right surroundings and hook up with the right people, and don't make excuses for your failures. Just look at your failures and recreate yourself and motivate yourself to succeed and be a wholesome citizen, contribute to the success of your own life. And if anything else Dr. King has done for me, that has been my greatest encouragement. And I think it's probably one of the reasons I decided to pursue my master's level degree, because one time I wanted to be a broker, and I thought that's what I was going to do with my life. But I decided to really give myself to total ministry. And one of the ways I thought to do that was to be trained and follow suit with a man who had spent a lot of years in educating himself even before he got to this point of trying to fight for human justice. So that's where I am. That's what I continue to do even now as I pastor my church, to encourage our young people to pursue their dreams and to emulate men and women who have contributed something to the Lord's culture, like Dr. King has. And so not only do I think he was an encouragement to the African American community, but I think he was an encouragement to the larger community. And so he is indeed a living hero. And even though he's dead, I think his legacy will live on in the lives of many kids, many children, from generation to come.